right, thank you guys for coming. And welcome to our fourth Off the Record concert hosted by The Daily. Today we have Saint, also known as Mia Bahr. Thank you so much for being here. Do you want to just start with a song and then we can get to like interview questions, or do you have an intro?
Yeah, no, I'm a junior at Stanford. Most people on the call know this because it's you are either a boss or a friend of mine. So I appreciate you being here. But yeah, we can start off with a song. Oh, also, just so you guys know, I told Sonia this, but my mic did not record everything from the beginning because the heater. It's 30 degrees in Chicago right now, and the heater went off in the middle of the recording. So yeah, some of this, it might sound wonky, but that's because I had to overlay another recording that I did afterwards onto this video. But there we go.
Hi, my name is Mia Bahr, and this is my Off the Record with the Stanford Daily. I'm going to start out with Ivy, which is my newest release on my Spotify, which you will find under St. Bahr.
This is the closest I've ever gotten to a college graduation. Today, I want to tell you 3 stories from my life. That's it. No big deal. Just 3 stories.
Gauntlet as I bike through the quad in the rain. I try to recreate your face while the world was not the same. Just like the earthquake in 1906, I crumbled to the ground. As history buildings fall, I look into the earth from upside down. I'm stuck walking through the campus while you drive. And I climb McMurtry wondering how I got this high. 'Cause I've never felt this way before, and I'm trying to figure out how to be fine, as I'm surrounded by scholars and models and $5 wine. I just wanna be your Ivy League girl, but I can't because each time I try to, I'm stuck walking through the campus while we drive, while we drive. And I fall into a million pieces every time, every time.
Okay.
Yay!
All right. My roommates are here with me, so that's why it sounds like I have more applause. Oh, somebody else is here. Okay. I I heard that song. I think that was the first one that I played off of your Spotify album, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is gonna be so good." Um,
Oh
my
yay! It was like a love-hate song to Stanford. Like definitely roasting the university that I love.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people do that. So my first question is, when we were talking about organizing this, you were saying that you're transitioning away from using the name Saint Bahr to just Saint. And I'm wondering why the name Saint, and why are you transitioning from using Saint Bahr originally?
Yeah, so firstly, Saint is a name actually. A little bit of background about me. Not everybody knows this. My close friends do. I actually thought that I was going to school for opera before I applied to like proper universities. I'm actually like classically trained, which you wouldn't know by listening to my music because I don't think I sound like that. But yeah, so I actually worked for Chicago's like lyric opera company, and I one day got the really awesome opportunity to try on something from I think Marriage of Figaro, and it was like a crown of divinity. And my friends who also worked with me at the opera house were just like, "Oh, you look like a saint. Oh, you're Saint Bahr. You're Saint Bahr," which is very funny because my family is from the Philippines. I'm very Catholic, and I'm sort of not. I was confirmed in the most Catholic way possible, meaning we paid off a priest in the Philippines. So it was sort of like this weird juxtaposition of like this Catholic culture I'd grown up with, and this thought that like even though a lot of the things that I do by a lot of people would be considered like not within the sort of good Christian girl ideology, I thought that it was like sort of a cool play on like my identity, not only as a woman who's like put under the pressure of like being super pious, but also at the same time like being from a country and a culture that's like so deeply into Jesus, like very into Jesus. I'm transitioning away from it now because originally I actually chose Saint Bahr because I didn't want a lot of people at my high school to know that I was making music. I felt like I was going to get made fun of, particularly when I came out with the rap album Shy right after high school. I was really not confident in my ability, not only as a musician, but also as a person. And I think that definitely having friends, in particular, like one of my best friends who I live with, I think that it wasn't until I had these really great relationships that were life-changing in college that I felt comfortable enough being like, yeah, like my music is who I am, and that's okay. And if an employer wants to look up, and yeah, for everyone who missed the beginning of this call, my boss is here. But yeah, like if any of my employers like look me up, I want them to know that this is like a big part of my life. So I really want to transition back to using my name because of that. Like at this point, I'm ready to like own that this is a huge part of who I am. It's a big part of my life.
Wow, there's so many connections that wraps
Yeah,
up.
I'm so hashtag deep.
Well, I wasn't expecting so much, but that's great. I feel like that carries a lot of meaning. All right, well, thank you for that. So I'm going to play the next song now.
My next song is a song off my first EP called Shy, and its name is 1111.
Alright, okay, alright, snap your fingers now. Snap your fingers now. I still believe in flying colors and the things you might believe if you were 6 years old. I still draw girls' names down on cards with hearts and X and O's and shit and sign my name in bold. Sometimes I dream about the way I love and how it feels to be loved back. I deserve more than guys off Tinder who make me feel like I'm gonna have a heart attack. So I'm wishing at 11:11 for someone who makes me paper planes. And I'm wishing at 11:11, at 11:11, you will sweep me off my feet and make me fly away. I still believe in things intangible and magical, like fairies and some type of God. But every day it's getting harder to believe that you will love me despite all my flaws. I like to think each one I meet unlocks a part of me that makes me who I am. I like to dream of different versions made of me that can live inside your head. So I'm wishing at 11:11, for someone who loves me as I am. And I'm wishing at 11:11, that they will sweep me off my feet, make me believe in love again. I wish for love, I wish for feelings, wish for things that make me fall apart. I wish for you, my dear. I wish emotions, wish for oceans, wish for tears that make me cry when you're away. So I'm wishing at 11:11, oh yeah, I'm just wishing at 11:11, I'm wishing at 11:11, oh yeah, I'm just wishing.
All right, my roommates are doing their job.
There's something very intense about just hearing disconjointed clapping coming from a very small phone.
Yeah, I bet. So my next question for you is, what genre of music are you producing? And now that I know that you are a trained opera singer, I'm wondering why this genre instead of, I don't know, more operatic songs?
Yeah, I honestly don't know how to answer that. I feel like, yeah, like I feel like a lot of artists have a better handle on the type of music that they're making. I think that everything I have has the same sort of vibe. It's sort of alternative, but also not really. I get told specifically with the Shy EP that it sounds a lot like No Name, which is definitely true because I idolize No Name and she's just the coolest artist of all time. She's so nice. But yeah, I would say indie is the only way I can describe it. I wish I had something cool like Dorm Pop for Jacob Eisenack, but I'm not as cool as him. So yeah, even though I really love opera, but my love for it is really separate, I think, from the life that I'm living at Stanford now. I also spent like my time in opera and specifically in like some of the big choir groups in Chicago. There's like this huge one called the Voice of Chicago, which if you're from the Chicago area, you definitely know what I'm talking about. It's like this huge choir of like 4,000 people, and then they feather it down to like 100 kids for like the ensemble that practices. I think it was like I was practicing like 8 or 10 hours a week, and that's outside of school and everything else, and the like private training that I was going through to audition for small ensemble roles. And it was just honestly, I think one of the most stressful points in my life, and I was like 14. I had felt like I felt like I had peaked because like at 12, like I was able to like go to all these things because I was really young, and then people always love the kids who can like sing in opera. But it really just like sucked all of the joy out of that for me. And I think that at this point in my life, not only have I like not been in the game for so long that like I've lost a lot of my like muscle for being able to sing that genre, but also like unless it's for a special event like someone's wedding, which I do like occasionally, it's a little bit painful to think about, honestly, that like I had teachers who like ruined my love for music so much that like I don't even want to sing this genre anymore. Yeah. I do some acapella stuff though. I didn't join any of the Stanford acapella groups because they practice so much and I have no time. Also because they didn't want me. But yeah, I still like doing like classical composition and all of that stuff. It's just at this point in my life I don't like singing opera that much anymore.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting life transition. I think that a lot of people have passions like that they have to move on from. But I'm gonna play the next song. Thank you for that answer.
And this is Fake Academic off of my most recent EP. This song is called Perpetual Sorrow.
Hey Mia, I love you so
This
much.
is Lydia Mia.
You're a fantastic human being. Good night.
And I'm trying to recreate, trying to percolate, trying to set it straight, cause what's done is done. And I'm trying to find a sense of self without begging for your help, because you know where that leads. New boy goes in ugly ass clothes, smoke a square while she yells on the phone. I wonder why I let everything get the best of me. I guess I'll go home alone. Sometimes I feel like giving up gives me a part of me back, but sometimes I need to pick myself up and say, baby, relax. You'll be fine, you'll be fine, you'll be fine, you'll be fine, you'll be fine. It's alright, it's alright, it's alright. Cause I've got perpetual sorrows just weighing me down, and I find reasons to pick myself up so I don't hit the ground. It's alright, it's alright, it's alright, it's alright, it's alright. It's alright, it's okay, it's alright, it's okay, it's alright. Sometimes the only reason I wake up is to say that I did. It's like a fog hanging over my head, it's like I cannot win. But I try and I try and I try and I try and I try, and I cry and I cry and I cry. Sometimes the only thing that you can do is wait for death or change. I try to recreate all of the pieces my God tried to break. I've got perpetual sorrows just weighing me down, but I won't let that shit bring myself down. Alright, I'm alright, I'm alright, I'm alright, I'm alright, I'm alright. Alright, I'm alright, I'm alright, I'm alright, I'm alright, okay.
Hey Mia, it's James.
And this is
God,
James,
that's
my boyfriend, who I love.
We'll see you tomorrow.
James got the shout out, but Lydia's my actual wife. So
When James started speaking, my roommate clutched his chest and said, "That's so cute." It
yeah.
makes me want to cry.
No, he's great. I'm actually visiting him next week for our 2-year anniversary. Time flies super fast. I wrote that at the end of my freshman year. So I like really can't believe that we're all in quarantine now and not able to see each other. Sad.
That's sweet. I was gonna ask the story behind this song because it has voices of two people who are probably very meaningful to you. So what went into creating this song?
Yeah, so I was really not knowing what was to come sophomore year. I was really just like, oh, I've missed out on so much freshman year. I'm wasting away. In hindsight, like it was the best freshman year I could wish for because I met all my friends who are still currently my friends. And Lydia is like a really close friend. We live together in our freshman dorm, which is Arroyo, which by the way is the best freshman dorm of all time. I will not be taking commentary at this time. But yeah, so we were in this dorm, and I think the general consensus amongst a lot of my friends is that I'm definitely a worrywart. I'm super anxious about a lot of things, and it seems like something that's like really consistent throughout my life. So I was just like, oh, how funny would it be if I was like Collins like did the Our Lady of Perpetual Sorrows look at the Met Gala. So I was just like, oh, how funny would it be if, because like my name is like Saint Bahr, I'd like talk about like depression and like dealing with like this imposter syndrome as like Our Lady of Perpetual Sorrows. And then it ended up being like, I ended up like writing this like insane hook with, actually, I think that it was Aton I was like sitting in the room with, as I was like, oh, I have a good idea for a song. I should write this. I wrote the hook, and then I wrote the entire song, I think, in like one day. But yeah, the meaning behind the people at the beginning and the end is like, Lydia, I don't have any voicemails from like any of my other friends other than them, because Lydia and James are the only two that call me on the phone to actually like physically talk. But I always listen to voicemails whenever I'm missing my friends, especially like in quarantine. I think that like voice memos are my love language. I love getting them from absolutely anyone. Lydia says it's because she's an old lady, and I concur with that. But yeah, I think that definitely the only thing that kept me like sane freshman year and sophomore year and now has been like the people that I've met at Stanford, who are just like, sometimes you just gotta let shit go, and that's okay. So yeah, this song is really about like letting go of like all the crap that bogs down my mind for no apparent reason. Like it holds so much space, and for what? There's no purpose. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's beautiful. And also my roommates love that you listen to voicemails. They think that's cute too. I'm just interpreting all their reactions. Right. And then my other question is, you mentioned No Name, but who are your other musical influences?
Oh my God. Wait, okay. So yeah, definitely Mitski. I didn't mention Mitski before. As everyone else who is queer and a woman would say, like Mitski is by far, in terms of songwriting, not really in terms of genre, like one of the, in my opinion, like best songwriters that I've ever encountered. Like her music is just like really raw. But also, and this is kind of like, I love Radiohead, which makes me sound like a 15-year-old boy that's like going through his edgy phase, aka my brother. But I think that they were really influential in sort of developing my lyrical style and flow. In addition to obviously like old style Kanye West. I can't agree with like any of his politics. However, like if you think about Graduation and all of those albums that really shaped rap music into what it is today and brought it to absolutely new heights that I think no one could ever imagine in terms of like songwriting and lyrical genius. Yeah, he's definitely a big inspiration, but only on the songwriting front, because he's kind of struggling right now to keep my respect.
Yeah, I was a big Kanye West fan sophomore year of high school. Like that was kind of exclusively what I would listen to. And I also feel, maybe I'm just reading into this, but a lot of, or maybe just the first song, I like think of Haley Blaze. I don't know if you listen to her.
I don't, but I will now.
Yeah, I listened to that a lot freshman year at Stanford. And so just like hearing, like walking on at Stanford and all that just reminds me of freshman spring. But awesome. So I'm going to play the next song.
Okay.
Next up on my set is a song called Sorority Noise.
What are we doing? Blowing? Oh, I thought we were throwing it up. Oh, throwing it up. Okay. 1, 2.
Trying to find a way to write the past, but with beer cans on my head, think I'll just sleep instead. don't feel right, you can go into the night, light it all away and hold. You can fly high as a kite, but the feeling stays inside. You don't wanna feel like this anymore. Through the fog, I got my glasses on as we're cruising down the highway that is way too long. Raindrops, twin peaks while you're late to school. You may not be thin or pretty, but at least you're cool. With the words left on repeat, wondering what is wrong with me. Isn't this the time of my life? Is it just inside your head, or is existential dread drowning out the sound of the sorority noise? With the lights and the fashion and American boys, it don't feel like a choice to just hide all the sadness and show them the joy. When your mind just don't feel right, you can go into the night, light it all away and hold. You can fly high as a kite, but the feeling stays inside. You don't wanna feel like this anymore. Sorority noise, are the girls feeling good, feeling guns to the boys. Sorority noise, with the lights and the fashion American boys. Sorority noise, sorority noise, sorority noise, sorority noise, sorority noise.
Hi, I'm Matt, Recruitment Vice President. I'm Haley, Chapter President. I'm Jean Marie, Formal Recruitment Chair. We've been waiting for you all summer, and we're so glad you're finally here.
Very nice.
Thanks.
Are you in a sorority?
Yeah, I've been trying to. Woo. Yeah, I mean, I am. I really like it. I think my grandbig is here actually. Where's Maddie? Yeah, hi Maddie. Yeah, I think that it's been really interesting, especially with the whole like abolish Stanford Greek life thing. I haven't been able to take a stance just because I absolutely love like Mylin and other people that I've met in Tri-Delt, but it's also been really weird being in a sorority, like as an Asian American woman, even though there's a ton of like other women of color in Tri-Delt. I still felt super isolated and still do. I thought that it would like solve all of my social problems, but it absolutely did not. I felt like really isolated spring quarter, and like didn't know what to do. And over quarantine, I was just like thinking about, oh man, like I wish I would have spent more time with like all of these people. I spent so much time like partying and like trying to fit in. I feel like I don't really know the people who I'm like sisters with. So I was actually at James's house in Washington, D.C. I recorded this in his basement, which shocked his parents because they were like, how did you do this? And I was like, I don't know. I sort of just did it. But yeah, I don't know. I definitely wrote this because I never thought that and I don't think that my mom ever thought either that I was the type of person to join a sorority. I really actually did it because I think I was deeply insecure about my friendships, especially with other women. I didn't have a lot of like female friends before I came to college at all. And like still it's been really hard to like cultivate those relationships because there's such a deeply ingrained like internal misogyny and also like competition between like women, because that's just the way that our society has always been. And that's not me being like fake deep or fake woke or anything. Like I was literally like a female incel, I feel like, before I came to college. And then afterwards I was just like, oh no, like I have so much growing up to do as a woman, so I should like join the sorority to like make other women friends. But I think that I sort of learned that like you can't just like fit your square peg into a round hole. It's not going to make you any happier to join these organizations that are like founded on the premise that like they're exclusive to get into. And you get to go to like X, Y, and Z parties and it's fun. And like you have the possibility of like being able to drink and like do all of these new things that you didn't get to do before. So yeah, it's sort of like a disillusionment with Greek life, but also at the same time, I feel guilty saying that. I feel super critical because I'm still in my org. I still absolutely love it. But yeah, there are like pitfalls to everything. It's a really complicated relationship, especially like as a woman of color in a sorority that like hundreds of years ago, like probably would not have allowed me to even be a part of it because I'm like a first generation American.
Yeah, I think listening to this for the first time, it sounds like you have like a deep love for your sorority and like sort of looking at it through rose-colored glasses and that sort of thing. But hearing you speak about it, it definitely sounds like it's very complex for you. And maybe the song is meant to be read a little bit more ironic in some places. Is that accurate?
Yeah, so I think, yeah, like upon first listen, because if you just think about like sorority noise and about like the beer cans on the floor that I'm like describing in the second verse, like you think about it as like, oh, this person is like describing a party scene. But like specifically in the chorus, I talk a little bit about, I think it's like sorority noise, you don't want to feel like this anymore. And like you can run, but you can't hide through the smoke at Theta Chi. Which like obviously like Theta Chi is just like an amazing, wonderful like queer space, not dominated, thank God, by the Greek monopoly on row houses. But I think that like it's also a commentary on like substance abuse in the Greek community as well as like the overall party scene at Stanford. I would say that it's just as prevalent at co-ops, except it's not paid attention to enough, particularly because a lot of the people in co-ops are queer people of color. Like definitely as soon as like people started getting into fraternities and stuff, I saw the substance use not only of like people that I knew from my dorm, but like just in general across the whole entire freshman class because of Greek life. Like the whole relationship with like drugs and alcohol completely changed. And like even though you're like running from all of your like problems with finals and everything, but like drinking and doing all of this stuff, it's not a real remedy for like any of the problems that any of these people were facing, including myself. And like I'm one to talk because like I ended up losing a friend like in a fraternity house like to substance use. So I think that like at the time I was really frustrated with the fact that like yes, I like have a really great relationship with some people and I really like Greek life as I'm a part of it and its ecosystem, but then again like I'm an organizer, so my relationship is completely different from someone who like just doesn't care and wants to like go party on someone's boat. But yeah, I was also like frustrated because like there's this duality of yeah, I want to like party and be a typical like college student, but people die. And like there are a lot of people at Stanford who are legitimately like dependent on substances because the school just doesn't pay attention to people's mental health. So I think that yeah, it's meant to be read a little bit ironically, but you can see like interwoven specifically through the chorus and in some of the verses, the feelings of like inadequacy that I think are really unique to Stanford, and some issues having to do with like the way that people change after they enter these majority like white rich social circles that are sort of pressuring people, especially people who are not privileged enough to like not have to worry about money or anything, to sort of like get rid of their problems through just like partying and ignoring like everything else. Sorry, that was a long answer. I didn't realize how deep I had actually gone, but
no, thank you so much for sharing that. And to your last point about just Stanford and the social circle, you're on a gap year or a gap quarter.
Yeah, I'm taking a flex term right now.
Okay. So how has your relationship with Stanford in your music changed since being removed from the school and taking a full course load?
Yeah, I think that I actually was in one class and then I withdrew from it because I was really like stressed out. I think that my music has completely changed since leaving Stanford because I'm able to have this sort of, like I said before, like this duality of like, oh, I don't have to like hate everything, but I also don't need to write these like overly positive, like very poppy songs about like how good my life is because I go to Stanford, or like how good my life is because I'm from Chicago, which honestly, if you're from Chicago, you have a better life than most people because it's the best city in the world. But seriously, like I think that I've been able to acknowledge that, like, yes, I really love Stanford, but also I really hate it. But we wouldn't hate it so much if we didn't like absolutely love it. Like that's dumb. No one like is just a hater for no reason. Well, some people are, but I'm not a hater for no reason. I have very good reasons behind the reasons I feel the way that I do. And I think that leaving Stanford, particularly after not only the trauma of like losing a very close friend, but also like going through a global pandemic and having to be separated from all these people that I've really considered to be my family and my foundation for like what a healthy relationship is. It's allowed me to take a step back and realize that like, yes, I have a lot of things to be thankful for, but I can still like kind of complain about Stanford. So instead of being one side or the other, basically what I'm saying is I've blended the two, and now I'm more like mellow and indie sounding more than rap and like very depressing piano music, which you can find on my SoundCloud. It's not on my Spotify, you guys, but I do have some like very sad bangers from like 2014.
All right. Hopefully people will go listen to that. But for now, I'm going to play the next song.
This last song is very near and dear to my heart. It's a song called Smile. It was the favorite of my now past friend, Aton. If you're listening, buddy, I perform this at every concert now because of you. So if you don't like it, you're just gonna have to deal with it. But yes, this is Smile. Aton, I hope you like it.
Like the way you smile and when you look into my eyes, your heart beats just like mine. Understand that you do not have lots of time to give. You do have lots of life to live, and I wanna be there to see you smile. Your smile. Every time I look into your eyes, I feel like I'm awake, and I've been living life in glass houses, away from it all. But now I just wanna see it all with you. So show me what it's like to be a normal person. Show me what it's like to feel safe inside your arms. Your arms. I used to be afraid of loving again, but every trace is erased by your face and your smile. Your smile. 'Cause I miss the way you smile. And when you looked into my eyes. I hope you realized
Wow, that was so beautiful.
Thank you.
How are you feeling? How do you feel watching yourself sing the song?
I mean, honestly, and I texted this to like my friend group chat where like half of the people in this Zoom call are, but like I feel like watching myself sing particularly like all of these songs is like my personal hell. But I'm pushing myself to be uncomfortable. But I don't know, definitely hearing that song, it's really hard. I incorporated it into the last EP for the Goodbye song that was dedicated to Aton, and all the proceeds from that EP went to the Save the Music Foundation because he was really passionate, not only about his own music, but also about the importance of the arts in education. Yeah, so I incorporated it, but like every time that I tried to record that song or like tried to re-record it, because I was thinking about releasing that with the EP, I just like broke down crying because I kept thinking about, I don't know, I could think about like how painful it was that, like you never get to say like a real goodbye, especially if it's like you lose a loved one through a really tragic and senseless accident. So but I like force myself to sing it whenever I have a concert because it's just like, well, yeah, I don't know, like I wouldn't have half the songs I have now without him, really, honestly, because like he would lend me his audio interface, which sounds like super dumb and trivial, but I was too lazy to buy my own. So he would just be like, oh yeah, just like break into my room, like go grab my thing, like don't worry about it. He's just one of those people that, you know, in and after the moment is going to like profoundly change your life. So I feel like, I don't know, so much of my music that I write at Stanford is deeply connected, not directly to him, but on like his impact on my life and on the lives of like so many other people who knew and loved him and like still do love him really deeply. So yeah, I know it's like, it's really weird to watch you like sing. It's really weird to watch yourself sing something, especially in front of like what, like 14 people on a Zoom call. But yeah, I don't know. I'm happy with it. I'm glad I got to do that. It's a good way to like remember my friend and let him know that like consistently I'll never forget for the rest of my life like this impact that this person had on me and like a bunch of other people. He changed so many people's lives during like the 20 years that he was on Earth, which is like crazy if you think about it, because most people don't even change one. He did it to at least like I know like of 15 people who were like, their lives are completely changed. They're like different people because of the person that he was. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. He sounds really kind and amazing.
Yeah, he is. He's also a goofball though, so let's not give him too much credit. Yeah. But I wrote this song right before high school, and there's actually a really funny story. Like most of the people from Arroyo, I don't think that people from my freshman dorm knew that I was into singing, other than my friend Bahr, because we had been like Facebook stalking each other before we came to campus. We were convinced that we were gonna be roommates because we both have the same initials. But like, yeah, so she knew everything about me, but like none of my friends or my boyfriend knew that like I really was into singing until like I performed this. There was like actually like at like a cafe night, there was like a technical glitch where like the first song that I performed for cafe night didn't work, and I was so embarrassed. Like I thought I was gonna cry because I was like, oh my god, it's like the first quarter of college and I just like bombed in front of like everyone. And the second song went fine, and the second song was Smile. But like my first song was so bad. I was just like, I can't believe I did that in front of my whole freshman dorm. And then Aton just like comes up to me afterwards with like the hugest smile on his face. He's just like, oh my god, that second song was so amazing. Like that Smile song was really good. I felt like I was gonna cry. I was just like, damn, who is this fool in front of me? Like just being so nice. And like after that I just like did not feel like crying anymore, because I was just like, shit, like people are really nice. People are way better than I make them out to be. I'm like being too hard on myself. But yeah, I don't know. I really like that song. Yeah. I also taught myself to play guitar just for that one riff, and I forgot how to play the guitar since then. So yeah, don't be surprised if you ask me to play the guitar and I don't know how to do it.
That's relatable. Thank you for sharing that story too.
Mm-hmm.
So my last question of the night is, where do you see Saint going in the future? And what are your plans or upcoming projects?
Yeah, so I'm coming out with an album, like a full album, not an EP, in 2021, mostly covering like Stanford and my experience with all that. So yeah, if you guys liked Fake Academic, I know that everybody's mad at me for not playing Fake Academic, but I promise you the footage was really bad. Like the dancing was even more cringy than the ones that you saw today. But yeah, so if you like Fake Academic and all of that stuff, it's going to be more in that vein of like musical style. I'm sort of leaning away from rap. I don't know if anyone listens to like Let's Eat Grandma, but I'd like to get to a point in terms of like production experience where I'm able to make sounds that sound similar to that. So I think my goal for the next 5 years is like to be able to like replicate some of the artists that I really admire in terms of like what they include in their musical composition. Like Charlotte Day Wilson is another example of like really interesting music making and like polyrhythms that I think would be really cool to incorporate. But yeah, I mean, it's my hobby as of right now. It'll be like my entire career at any point, mostly because for people like that, they end up being child stars and then going crazy. And I think that I really enjoy being a subsistence major as of right now and just like being a normal person. But yeah, definitely once the pandemic is over, hopefully I'll be gigging around Chicago again and then gigging at Stanford. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So stay tuned for the album, guys, and please stream on Spotify. It actually does give me money, and it's really helpful because I need to pay for college.
That's great. Well, at least me and my roommates will be listening because we really enjoyed it. Thank you so much for coming. This was super
Thank you,
great.
Sonia. Thank you guys for coming also.
Yeah, thanks everybody for showing up.